All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to decode a seemingly innocent, everyday phrase that is secretly controlling our most emotional conversations. If you've ever had a deep talk in Dutch, you've definitely heard it. It's the phrase grappig, hè? Which translates to funny, right? Or crazy, huh? It sounds so casual, right? But this tiny little phrase is actually doing some massive psychological heavy lifting. Imagine you're in this scenario. Someone looks right at you and says, "My dad passed away 10 years ago today, and I still can't go near his old workshop." And then, right when that immense emotional weight hits the floor, they immediately add, "funny, right?" It's totally jarring, isn't it? I mean, why on earth do we abruptly end painful, vulnerable truths with this phrase? It's not actually funny. Nobody's laughing. So what is really going on here? Section 1, the investigation. Let's peel back the layers of this conversation. To really understand this, we have to start with a concept called homeostasis. In psychology, literally every system, whether that's an entire family, a romantic relationship, or honestly just a one-on-one chat over coffee, strives to maintain its internal equilibrium. It desperately wants to keep the emotional temperature stable. So when a deeply painful or vulnerable topic makes that emotional temperature rise way too quickly, the system kind of panics. Funny, right? Acts as a conversational thermostat. It's an emergency brake that cools things down and abruptly shifts the system back to a safe, comfortable baseline. The unspoken message here is super clear. We're stopping right here. We are not going any deeper. And this brilliantly illustrates our next layer. You see, this deflection isn't just some random individual habit you picked up on your own. It's very often a deeply inherited survival strategy. If you look at family systems across generations, you'll constantly find histories of war, deep loss, or extreme poverty. For a lot of these families, the absolute only way they survived those unimaginable hardships was by keeping things light. We laugh about heavy things. It becomes this unspoken family rule that gets quietly passed down through 2, 3, maybe even 4 generations. Which leads us to this incredibly harsh, subconscious reality. Feeling deeply actually equals betraying the system. Think about it. For someone whose family survived for decades by keeping things light and constantly cracking jokes, actually pausing to feel those heavy emotions can subconsciously feel like a profound disloyalty to their family system. They aren't just avoiding a feeling, they are honoring their ancestors' survival strategy. To break the rule and actually feel the grief is to feel, on a totally hidden level, unfaithful to the family itself. That is exactly why this phrase is so incredibly persistent. So the crucial takeaway here is this double message. On the left, we have Erbeisein, they're present in words. The speaker is actually acknowledging the pain, they're brave enough to say it out loud. But on the right, we have nicht sein, they're totally absent in feeling. By slapping on that funny right at the end, they mentally step completely out of the room. It's basically a mild form of dissociation wrapped up as a conversational tic. They're suddenly observing the trauma from above, almost like they're watching a movie. And that means their physical body doesn't have to bear the actual impact of the emotion. Section 2, the twist, the hidden invitation. Up until now, the speaker might seem like they're just an avoider, right? Running from the pain. But that is only half the truth. Funny, right? Is actually a test balloon. The speaker is touching on something incredibly real, but they are terrified. So they send up this little test balloon to see, is it emotionally safe enough with you to go further? Relationship expert John Gottman famously calls this a bid for connection. It's a disguised, highly cautious invitation. The phrase doesn't slam the door shut, it actually leaves it just slightly ajar. And here is the great reveal. The true power of this interaction doesn't lie with the speaker at all. It lies entirely with you, the listener, and your reaction to that test balloon. If you laugh along with them, you unknowingly confirm the old family rule. We keep it light. The system wins, and bam, the door closes. But if you remain calm, if you stay totally present and probe gently, you signal that it is finally safe to open up. The door swings open. The systemic block isn't actually in the phrase itself. It's right there in the live interaction between the two of you. Section 3, the toolkit, how to handle the pause button. Let's see how all this theory builds into some practical, actionable steps for anyone listening who wants to foster deeper, more authentic connections. Before we get to the actual words you should say, we really have to talk about your mindset. This fundamental shift is absolutely crucial. On the left, we have the prosecutor mindset.
The biggest trap you can fall into here is playing amateur psychologist and diagnosing them. If you say something like, well, you're just avoiding your feelings, congratulations, you've just become the prosecutor. All safety vanishes immediately and their defensive system is going to lock down tight. What you actually need is the witness mindset on the right. A witness observes what's happening, stays completely present, and crucially doesn't judge it as a mistake. You have to respect that this humor was once a necessary survival strategy that literally helped this person get through hard times.
Okay, once you're locked into that witness mindset, you can walk up this ladder of interventions. Step 1 is the most important by far, vertigen, slow down. When they say funny, right, your absolute first reflex will be to laugh. Don't do it. But also, don't suddenly become super heavy and therapeutic either. You find the middle ground by slowing down. Just look them in the eyes and let a silence fall for a couple of seconds. Let's try it right now. Do you feel how much space that creates? Often that silence alone is enough for the speaker to feel safe and just continue on their own. But if they don't, you move to step 2, probe softly. Keep your tone light, but your intent serious. Try something like, I see you're laughing. Does that match how you feel inside? Or even simpler, funny, and what else?
Now, if you have a really close relationship with this person, you can jump to step 3 and name the pattern. And let me tell you, this specific question is absolute systemic gold. Who did you get that from, laughing at heavy things? Asking this beautifully removes all of the shame. Why? Because you're shifting the intense focus away from their current behavior and moving it to their family's heritage. Suddenly, you aren't talking about a weird conversational tick anymore. You're talking about loyalty, about grandparents, about family culture. It just opens everything up. And finally, step 4 is just acknowledging that this strategy served them incredibly well in the past, which gives them the freedom to choose something different right now in the present.
But we definitely need to cover the boundaries too. What you absolutely do not do. First, no unmasking. Looking at someone and saying, that's just a defense mechanism without building safety first might be true, but it's entirely worthless. It just creates distance. Second, don't force it. If you probe softly and they still deflect, let it go. Leaving the door slightly ajar is the intervention. Violently kicking it open is a boundary violation. And third, please don't problematize every single joke. Look at their eyes. Sometimes something is just funny. If the laugh doesn't reach their eyes during a heavy moment, yeah, there's more beneath the surface. If not, just let it be a joke. Section 4. The mirror. What if you are the one saying it? For our final act today, we really need to turn the mirror around. What if you are the one doing this? What if you're the one constantly hitting the pause button with a quick, self-deprecating joke whenever things get just a little too real?
If you're recognizing this in yourself right now, the exercise is remarkably simple but highly confronting. Just notice it. When you drop that conversational pause button, you do not need to kill your sense of humor. That humor is a beautiful part of who you are. It protected you and it brought you to where you are today. But to take back control from your subconscious programming, all you have to do is take one more breath. Because in that single extra breath, you gain the power to choose. You step out of an automatic system that controls you and step into a life that you design. So the next time you hear yourself deflecting a painful truth by saying, funny, right? I want you to take that breath and ask yourself this one lingering question. What else is it besides funny?